Hello everyone, welcome to the Business Management Guide. I've been getting quite a few requests on making a guide about this because it can be a bit confusing. It took me quite a bit to get used to it as well. So I'm going to cover a bit of things and hopefully it will help you reach rank 1 in the Business Management minigame, which is it benefits you a lot. First of all, if you get to rank 100, you'll recruit Eri as a playable optional party member, which is really helpful. She's going to help you so much at a certain story point. And other than that, you're going to get special moves for Ichiban. And so I really recommend that you spend time on this minigame. You're going to get money and some moves on the side as well. So without further ado, we'll take a look at what you have here. So the first thing you probably want to be looking at is properties. Now, when you go into the market, there's a lot of shops that you can buy. And once you buy a given shop, you can assign people to it, employees that you hire. Now, the thing you want to be looking at when you buy a property is the sales volume on the right. That basically tells you how much you're gonna make out of it every run. And of course you can increase this amount by upgrading the shops like this. So once you go here and upgrade, you can select any given shop, and for example you go here, and when you invest in sales volume, that's what's going to increase the profits. But in turn for increasing the profits, you will also have to have higher stats for the shop, if that makes sense. If you take a look below the sales volume, you have product, service, and notability. Now, this is what the employees are supposed to offer to the shop. So, for example, you have Daigo over there as a leader. He is excellent at notability, but he's not so good at service or product. So this is the kind of thing you want to keep in mind when you assign employees to each and every shop. Now, if this increased profits, the first option, you might be wondering, okay, what do the other three options do? Now, this is basically stat increases for the shop without having to employ employees. So, for example, if you have 3 people assigned to one shop and they're simply not enough to reach the quota, as you can see, there's like a line in the midst of each stat. If they can't reach that, this is going to help you do that. It's basically increasing the stats so that it's easier for you to reach the quota for each and every stat over there. So now, for example, if I want to raise the sales volume to increase the profits, I will have a problem in the product stat. So it's not very advisable that I do this, especially since on the 3rd member slot, that member or that employee is only going to increase notability. As you can see, only the last stat is highlighted. So that's why picking a leader is very vital. You have to pick someone who's kind of balanced out, if that makes sense. So let's take a look, for example, over here. Now, if you want to assign employees to any given property, let's remove Daigo and Saejima first. So by default, my property has the needed amount of service, but as you can see, it lacks enough product and notability. That's where your employees come into play. So if we put in, for example, Saejima, product is going to be above the recommended amount, and so is going to be service, but we still need something for notability. So that doesn't mean that means you actually have to be careful where you assign the remaining members. This member is only going to contribute service, and this member is only going to contribute notability. So if we assign Daigo here,
just leave it to me.
It's going to be way beyond excellent. Now with this combination, let me just make it clear. If we put Daigo here, and then Saejima, for example, here. As I've shown you earlier, if I try to upgrade it, see that gap in product, it's not going to be able to reach the quota. But if I swap them around, like so,
I'll show you how it's done. Just leave it to me.
See, it makes all the difference. Now that means I can basically upgrade this, and I get more profits. I can upgrade it again, and it's still no problem. But for the last one, as you can see, the service is all the way to the end, and that's gonna mean I have to assign someone else in the middle for the service skill. So with this, I hope you have an idea of how the assigning works exactly with the shops, because it can be tricky. But if you try to figure out the best placements for each and every member or employee, it's going to help you way more than you think. Sometimes you might only need 2 employees for a given shop, like right now. So this is what you need to know, I would say, when it comes to properties. And also one more thing, if you want to sell a property, for example, you unlocked a much better your property that you can buy, and you want to sell an old one that doesn't really bring in as much cash anymore. You go into properties, of course, you select any given one, and you can just sell them, like so. But do note that Ichiban Confections is the only property that cannot be sold. Now with this out of the way, we're gonna take a look at employees. Now employees, I think by default you're gonna have a few of them. And you also need to keep in mind that every employee you have, even if they are not assigned to a property, they're gonna be taking a bit from the company funds. So keep that in mind. If you're not using a certain employee, it's better to just fire them from the company. Like this, for example, termination, and that's it. You're gonna gain more profits that way, because obviously you're not gonna be paying this employee. So make sure to keep employees only that your company is using for the properties. And other than that, every time you go and open for business, this will eventually drain the moods of the employees. So in order to make them feel motivated, you have to give them bonuses. So you have 4 bonuses, and they are like gradual. This is the cheapest one, and then there's this, and this, and this. But if you want to spare yourself the time, there's an auto care button, as you can see on the top, the bottom right. Once you press this, it's just going to do everything for you, and it's going to make your life a lot easier. So with this done, you can also, of course, recruit new members if you need any more. Which brings me to say, you have to do sub-stories. It's going to bring in more people for you to recruit. And there's also going to be people scattered across Yokohama. And once you talk to them, you can recruit them into your company. And of course, sometimes you get random recruiting like options. Eri is going to tell you about them, and you can just decide whether you want them or not. And again, remember, don't employ more than you need, because that's going to just drain more company funds. Right, so I believe this covers everything there is about them. Of course, you can also level them up. You don't have to wait for them with, you know, shareholder meetings and whatnot for them to level up. You can level them up with money, but right now I have most of them leveled up, but let's see. Let's level up Omelette for demonstration. So this is gonna limit break Omelette, as you can see, from 5 to 10. She can level up to level 10. So with this, she can now be leveled up to 10. Now the training courses are, much like the bonuses, also gradual. You have the lowest option and then going up to the highest option. Keep the price in mind, because the highest one is 4.5 million. So don't pick this if you're still early in the minigame. But once you're able, you can just go for this and insta-upgrade. And now, as you can see, she's level 10 again. And with this, I can limit break her again. And of course, you don't have to reach the cap to limit break. I can limit break again, even though I haven't leveled her up to 15. There we go, level 30. And with this, you can just keep leveling up any employee. Now she's maxed out. So sometimes you will also get some kind of seminar offers where your employees get more XP or have a higher chance of getting more XP. So keep those in mind when you're playing this minigame. Right, now with the employees out of the way, we have what is called debts. Now this feature I never used, and you should never have to use it as well, because from what I can tell, it's only going to be trouble for the company and it's going to give you a hard time. So never touch this. Right, now we have the boardroom, and this is basically where you can see information about the shareholder meetings. Now, you can assign people for the shareholder meetings, and you know, these are... It doesn't matter which property they're assigned to, you can pick anyone. And now for the actual minigame. The minigame is fairly simple. Once you open for business, you just have to hold the assigned button to speed up the business process. And once it's done, you go back to the menu and you have to repeat until you reach the 4th attempt in opening your business. And that's going to result in you holding a shareholder meeting. This part is also fairly simple once you know what to do and how to do it. So the first thing you have to keep in mind is the elemental factor. Each and every employee of yours will carry an element that will be important to pick which target to deal with. So naturally you also want to take a look at the elements of your enemies before you decide who to pick. However, each opponent also has one layer before that which acts as a shield. Now this shield can be an element other than the element that they own, if that makes sense. So for example, this guy here is green element, but he has a shield that is blue element. So to break the shield in one efficient blow, I pick a green element employee to break that shield instantly. And to help you get it down quick in the heat of the moment, you will see this weak text written if you pick the right employee. So make sure to bring employees of all 3 elements at least. Another thing to look out for is the points bar below. Each use of your employees consumes points, and how many points they consume depends on who you're using. These points recharge automatically with time, so it's a good idea to wait until your opponents are close to losing their patience before picking someone to counter. And another little thing that helps you with buying some time for yourself for your points to recharge is the apology system on the bottom right over here. You can save up to 3 points of apologies and then choose from 3 different kinds of apologies ranging from weak to strong. Although you may not find yourself even needing to use them eventually when you're stronger with better employees. And that's really all you need to know about the shareholder meetings. Once you're done, you will get some pocket money for yourself, and this amount keeps increasing until it hits a good 3 million. Once you hit that amount, every time you hold a shareholder meeting, you're just gonna keep getting 3 million again and again, and this is probably one of the best ways in the game to grind for money. And I suppose the last thing to look out for is whenever you get commercial opportunities, always take those. They always mean more profits for your company, and you get to see a cool little cutscene with Ichiban advertising his own company, so why not? But the best part has to be all the little running Ichibans become groovy Ichibans. So with all this said and done, I'd like to thank all of you for watching this guide, and I hope that it helps someone out there. If anyone has a question, please post it in the comments and I will try to help out. And a special thanks to these folks for helping out with the channel. I really appreciate their support, and I hope you continue to enjoy my content. And with that said, peace!